How's it going? This is Fox back again for sound design tutorials. Still following on with the deconstruction of this Electro Track I made using only Native Instruments Massive. A link to the full track workout where I made this will be in the description if you want to see how I made the track from start to finish. I'll do a link to part 1. If you want to hear the track played out in full, you're going to need to follow the link from part 1 to part 2. Skip to the end of part 2 and you'll be able to hear this track in full. So we've worked our way through most of the bass patches now. We're going to go to this sort of chorded stab sound, which is this one. Everything that you can hear, that was purely from Massive. I've got a simple delay on the lane which I'll put on as well. Okay, so I'll turn the delay off for now, so all we're hearing is Massive. I've got a bit of basic EQing, cutting the lows out. I mean, it was quite a high pitched sound anyway, so this was just some EQing just to make it sit better in the mix. Bit of sidechain compression from the kick. So yeah, we'll initialize this patch. So it's quite an analog. I'm going to call it an analog stab / pluck because I've got a macro control so you can see it as a pluck or a stab. I'm going to call it an analog one because it only uses the basic waveforms. I use all three of them are square saw waves, just slightly different from each other. So oscillator 1, keep it on a square saw wave. Wavetable all the way around to the right so it's a saw. Intensity on full, amp on full. Route this only to filter 1 as we're only using filter 1. Quite boring just with one saw wave. We'll turn oscillator 2 on. Pitch this one down 1 octave to give us a bit of depth. Pull this one all the way to the left so it's a square wave. Keep the intensity on full. Pull the amp down to about 2 o'clock. Route this only to filter 1. Okay, oscillator 3. Turn this on. Pitch this one down 1 octave as well. Sorry, this one is going up 1 octave, plus 12. Pull the wavetable position all the way to the left so it's a square wave. Keep the intensity on full and the amp on about 3 o'clock. Route this only to filter 1 also. Put the filter in series mode. Even though we're using one filter, I always put it in series mode just to get used to it. Keep the mix between 1 and 2. Filter 2 is on, but there's nothing coming out of it, so but still leave the mix between 1 and 2. Okay, I use some phase modulation via oscillator 2 in the modulation oscillator. Click to turn it on. I didn't change the pitch or anything, I just pulled the phase around to about 9 o'clock. So this is without the modulation. And with. Started to tie a little bit of bite to the sound. I didn't use any noise or feedback or any of the 2 insert effects. We'll go to the global, routing now just to make sure everything's set up how it should be. Click on this top B to make sure this orange line flows all the way through and make sure it goes to FX1 first. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the oscillators, nice and straightforward. We'll go to the voicing section. I use an envelope just to thicken this out slightly. I'll give it 2 voices unison. I'll turn the pitch cutoff on. I used envelope 3 to move this pitch slider up quite quickly and then back down to 0 again. So click on envelope 3, drag this crosshair from the modulation box, drop it onto this box here, and then push it positive. Just a tiny bit, about the width of the crossfader itself. That means this envelope is going to push this up and down with the attack and the decay. So the attack that we had for envelope 3, back it off slightly from its original position. Decay where it is. Pull the level down to about between 8 and 9 o'clock. you can hear that starting to widen the sound. I'll pull it down so it's dead zero so you can't hear it. I'll push it up slowly. You can hear the effect that's having. It's sort of smearing the new unison voices just slightly apart from each other and then pulling them back down to zero at the end of each note. Neat little trick. That's it for the voicing section. I didn't modify any wavetable position or pan position or anything like that. We'll go ahead and set the filter up now. As usual, main filter. This is the main tool for sculpting most of my sounds. I love an envelope on a filter. I use envelope 2 for this. Instead of using the envelope to close the cutoff off, we're going to use an envelope to open the filter up. Slightly different way of using an envelope, but you still get the same effect. So yeah, we'll use envelope 2. Drag it to the first modulation box for the cutoff. Push it all the way around to maximum. It's quite squelchy and weird at the minute, but we're going to change these settings to get it a nice sort of plucky sound. Pull the attack down to 0 so it goes straight to maximum straight away. Decay level down to 0. Okay, it's still got a sort of squelchy sort of resonant sound at the minute. That's because we haven't set the master envelope up. Quite a plucky sound, so we need to make sure that envelope 4 is plucky as well. So envelope 4, push the attack off ever so slightly. Decay round slightly, decay level all the way down to 0. This is going to do the same thing as envelope 3 pretty much. It's going to go to maximum volume, because envelope 4 controls the main amp. It's going to go to maximum volume and then come down quite quickly as well to nothing. We don't want any resonance on this, so pull the resonance down to 0. Okay, we're going to apply a macro now so that you can control the amount of pluck or stab that we've got going on in the sound. With the decay level set there at dead 12 o'clock on both pretty much, it's more of a stab than a pluck. So to give this plucky feel, we're going to use macro 2. And for envelope 2, if you drag it to the decay, pull it down to about 11 o'clock. Also for envelope 4 decay, click it, drag this one back slightly bit further, in between 11 and 10 o'clock. And we'll call this Pluck. This is now going to give you control over the length of the stab. As you wind this knob round, it's going to create a more plucky sound. I'll show you what it sounds like. I've done it wrong. I've used envelope 1. We'll do 2. There we go. You've now got control over the length of the decay. The length of the decay is controlling the plucky sort of aspect of the sound. So yeah, if you want more plucky, dial it round to the right. This works really nice with a simple delay. I'll turn that back on for now. Sort of throbbing effects with the sidechain compression we've got going on. It's ducking in and out of the kick nicely. I'll solo the kick with it as well. Okay, we've got a few more effects just to sort out quickly. The reason I used a delay on the strip rather than within Massive is because I used a chorus for FX1 and a reverb on FX2, so there wasn't room for a chorus. So yeah, I use a basic chorus. I'll set the dry wet to about 10 o'clock, the rate to about the same, offset slightly to the right and depth slightly to the left. This, with the modulation that we've done on the voicing spread, helps sort of widen the sound, give it that sort of chorded sound that we wanted. I also put this same macro that you use to control the pluck on the dry wet and pull it down to 0 for the chorus. So as you get the pluck, the chorus goes out and it makes it more of a mono sort of plucky sound. You can really hear the chorus vanishing. Okay, FX2 is a bog standard reverb. Not too heavy on the reverb, the dry wet right down to in between 8 and 9 o'clock. Size about 7 o'clock. Density about 11. Colour for the reverb all the way around to the right so it's nice and bright. Again, small reverb like that's working really nice with this delay I've got on the channel. I'll turn the delay off again so you can just hear what's going on in massive. Okay, just a bit of EQing I did. You can do this to taste really. As I say, because it wasn't a bass patch, I pulled this low shelf down a bit and boosted the high shelf a bit, and that's it. That's the sound done. I'll turn the delay back on again. Play with the pluck. Two patches in one really, a nice chorded stab and then a pluck sound. I'll play it with the rest of the track so you can hear it underneath everything else. Here it is at the end, just with the drums and another chord sound that I've got. Quite heavily filtered, so we're only hearing the lower aspects of it there. There you have it. Nice analog chord / pluck sound with Native Instruments Massive. As I said, if you want to watch this track in full, there'll be a link in the description to see how I made this track. This whole project file, what you see here, is available to buy directly through me and downloadable via Dropbox. At £10 if you want it. You get everything. You get all these massive patches, all the drums and everything laid out as you see here, for you to keep and do what you want with yourself. All you need is Ableton Live 9 and Native Instruments Massive. The next one we'll be going over will be this chord sound. I'll just show you it quickly. It's quite heavily modulated with a filter throughout the track. I'll just open it up so you can hear it. More of a chorded pad really, not much going on. Again, it's two basic waveforms, one Flenders, one bit of modulation on the voicing. That's pretty much it. There's not much to it, but it is quite a wide sound. The reverb I've got on this strip, I've got no effects on here, so I'll probably try and recreate it with the reverb in the channel so you can hear it. But yeah, that'll be the next one what we're doing. But for now, thanks for watching. Check me out on Facebook and Google+. It's Sound Design Tutorials. If you want to get hold of me, my email and my Twitter account will be in the description. Okay, thanks again for watching. Cheers.